Welcome back, y'all, to the Day with Trae. I'm your host, Trae Holiday. Joining me right now is Logic Amen. What's up, Logic?
Peace, peace, peace.
Hey, how are you?
Good, good. Good to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here in the Black Media Matter studios on the Day with Trae with me. And, you know, I can sit here and talk a bit about what you do, but I'm so grateful that Converge was on the scene because you just recently had an event at Langston. And we're going to show the folks a little bit about some of the ways that you bring the griot party to life before we start talking about it. Y'all, check this out right here. This is the event that went on right there at Langston.
A vibration. Sound is more than you can hear. It is something you feel.
It is something you feel.
Vibrations are feelings and emotions. Once you hear something, you can never unhear it. Sound gets programmed in your mind. Your mind becomes your eyes, and you hear in silence.
Where the pride and ethnocentrism, the joy and smells of blackness.
And that carbon became chlorophyll and melanin.
And the reflections and manifestations of chlorophyll and melanin created the sound of seeds growing into trees.
I'm not raising you to be like them. That's why you can't do the things that they're doing. I'm raising you to be different.
The branches and leaves tag team with the wind, spreading pollen that grows into pastures, a forest.
You ain't felt it like I felt it. Despite your intentions, it's what I'm left with. A heart that's scarred and a memory wounded. You get caught up and you gon' end up losing.
Friends turn into enemies. But what good is pride if you dying inside? Deception caused anger. You thought I died, but I'm still alive. I survived.
I got my stock up, put the block up, so I don't worry about the pop-up.
We fake like the mask and drama majors. Play the secret scraper on the block, yeah, baby.
But when it comes to healing, do it with community people. Do it for the children.
The sound of our ancestors lives through us.
The sound of our ancestors lives through us.
But the story of my friend, Elijah Lewis, now that gave me chills. It swole my heart. Brother Elijah was a gunless soldier, a gentleman, a mentor, an entrepreneur, very young, incredibly smart.
They were alchemists, not just in the culinary sense, but in life.
The griot party experience is rooted in feel, heal, build, and grow. We need to relearn how we feel so we can know how to heal better, to build community so we can grow into the greatness of the Creator within.
Logic, yo, you brought some powerhouses to that stage, and I had to show them a little bit because sometimes you can show them better than you can tell them. But give us some of that history and that background of how you got to such an event like that. You've been doing things like this before, but griot, it has a long history. So just tell us a bit about how you said this is something we need to bring in our community.
Yeah, you know, first thing, you know, it's the power in words. So it's not a big deal until it is. We're very, very careful of the words we use. We don't say show, we don't say event, you know what I'm saying? It's an experience. So that's why it's the griot party experience. Griot is the French word for storyteller. Prior to the colonizer coming into West Africa, where the word originates from, it was jolly or jelly. And that is the storyteller. They say within the storyteller is about 10,000 books in our entire library. So one of the strategic things that the colonizer used to do when they came into our communities is the first thing they want to do is neutralize the storyteller, because within them is the oratory history of all the people. Once you neutralize the griot, it's way more, you know what I'm saying, efficient and possible to neutralize the whole community. So we wanted to bring back the griot party experience to the people to say we're still here. We're still here as Black, copper, brown, indigenous, aboriginal people representing this soil. And we know we like to start with the Central District, you know, and which I've renamed, you know what I'm saying, the Carbon District, you know what I'm saying, or the Color District. And it's putting our spin on it because the history that you read from the people who won the war, you know what I'm saying, and the treaties are to their benefit, it shouldn't always be in their words. It also needs to come from the people, you know what I'm saying, who are oppressed and felt the pain of being gentrified, being colonized, and being industrialized. So we have a right, an artistic right, but also just a human right to change the names of things. And y'all roll with it, you know what I mean? You know, we learned from hip hop you know what I'm saying, that we get to change the definitions of words, the tone, the context, and all that. So that's where it comes apart. The party part, like, you know, I did that, you know, let me go ahead and confess, I did that to trick people, especially our people culturally. When they see party, they automatically, oh, it's festive and all that. But party actually means like the Black Panther Party, like the Democratic Party, like the Republican Party. It's a group of people that come together for a political cause or for a common cause to create some kind of growth, you know what I'm saying, mobility and development of a community to protect our interests. So we know like the Black Panther Party, that's a perfect example. It's like they fed the people. We weren't waiting for votes to be counted. We wasn't waiting for an elected official to come in and, you know what I'm saying, make do on what they promised us. No, we're gonna get out there, we're gonna start feeding, you know what I'm saying, our children and whatnot. We're gonna start providing medical care. And then, you know, sure enough, you know what I'm saying, ironically, you know, that's how the, you know, that's how the free breakfast program got started with the schools, you know what I'm saying, free reduced lunch. They just took our idea, you know what I'm saying? We still have like the Carolyn Downs, you know what I'm saying, Center in the Central District. You know, she was a Black Panther. So the legacy's still there, her image is still there. So how do we know all these things? How do we get this across to the people? How do we heal as a people? How do we create safe places? We feed the people stories. You know what I'm saying? And within those stories, within those griots, is the antidote, is the medicine that we need to heal our generational trauma.
Well, this is something that I think is so special about the use of words. So thank you for that, because you're right, it is such an experience when folks come and actually hear these amazing stories from these griots. But it's something that is coming back. I feel like there was a void for a while. Like people didn't realize like how powerful storytellers have always been in terms of our history and our lineage and legacy. And so I really appreciate the focus on storytellers. And we have some amazing griots here in the Pacific Northwest, and particularly those in the Black community that I see just doing such great work. But to bring folks together and to curate this experience, tell us about that, because clearly there was so much thought put into, all right, who are we gonna get? Because there's so many you could get. Who needs to be here on this stage collectively as a griot sharing their story? Tell us more about the curation of that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Good prompt. You know, that's when you have to move with intentionality. And some people really don't, you know, they don't like that. They don't like to check boxes, but it's very important. I have a saying that the strongest in our community are truly, truly strong when they protect the most vulnerable in our community. So that's where we got to go on and say, who needs the voice the most? Now, you know, of course, we have our heavy hitters throughout the history of the Griot Party. We got our Isaiah Andersons, our Nikita Olivers. We have our Vitamin Ds. I mean, one day you'll be on there. But then there's just the common people, you know, who make our communities thrive. Because Griot or Jolly means blood, you know what I'm saying? So they're the blood of the community. So that's when you start checking boxes. Who are the most vulnerable in our community that don't have a voice? And we usually start with the women, the children, and people with disabilities or different abilities. And then now, you know what I'm saying, we got the LGBTQIA community who don't have a voice, you know what I'm saying, really. And I feel like if it was strategic not to let them have a voice, then it should be strategic to allow and provide opportunities for the most vulnerable in our community to speak. And so that's what it's really about. But if we're providing those opportunities for them to speak, a lot of times we say, okay, we gave you the opportunity to do it, now speak. So you can't say anything, but was it safe? And a lot of times it wasn't. So it's saying, so now it's a safe space. So reason why I say the Griot Party experience is an experience, it's not a show and event. There's so many things that go into the Griot Party experience, even backstage. Like we have an energy circle. And these are things that you can literally take back to your home after you watch the Griot Party experience and say, I'm gonna implement this. We're gonna have family night. We're gonna have, you know, family meetings when something come up. And the way we're gonna resolve this is we're gonna do something like the energy circle where we hold hands at least an hour before, you know, the experience. We did it on the stage in Langston Hughes, which is a historic, you know what I'm saying, living institute, you know, that we can talk about too, how important Langston Hughes is. But we did it right there on the stage, about 20 people. and we held hands. And what I did was I set up this lesson in building up the community where each person takes a turn, standing in the middle of everyone, and we just start pouring, you know what I'm saying, life into them. Life. This is what I appreciate about you. But before then, you know what I'm saying, we pour out libation and we say all the people who aren't here. And we make an emphasis on the people who aren't like the Marcus Garveys and the Malcolm X, but just people from your family. The Inez Lumpkins, my grandmother, the Bob Lumpkins, her husband, you know, Catherine Lumpkin, the person who started this red and black stuff with the Native American blood, you know what I'm saying? So we do that, and then we just pour blood. So when people walk away, and then we finally get up there and you read or you recite, you know what I'm saying, your story in front of people, it's like, man, this thing really came full circle, you know, and then people just come up like, you know, I want to be a part of this. I want to tell my story. Some people, when I come up to them, they'll be like, yo, I really want to do this and stuff like that. And then we get, you know, almost there, and they're like, I can't do it. It's too triggering. Wow. You know, I don't think I can make it without, you know, crying, which is okay too. You know what I'm saying? We've had situations where, Philip Hines is, you know, our keyboardist, you know what I'm saying? He'll be playing the keys and someone will tell a story and he's just bawling, and we'll just have to stop and put a hand on him, you know, because he'll be thinking about his mom who wasn't there for the griot party, you know what I'm saying? So griot, like I said, is the blood, and we keep the community going. And it's very important that, you know, people take these stories back, because it's a form of conflict mediation and resolution. A lot of time we have conflict because we don't understand a person's story. And then once we see ourselves in someone else's story, then we really see ourselves, you know what I'm saying, in the creator that is within. And a lot of sayings come out of the griot party too. And that's what's so dope, because I remember like growing up on hip hop, like a saying is really important, because like a lot of our family members come from the Bible, and they'll quote something from the Bible and then they'll try to implement that in their life. Well, that's the same thing about the griot party. Feed the people stories, or, you know, feel, heal, build, and grow. That is a 4-point, you know what I'm saying, step system. First you gotta feel, then you're able to heal, then you can build, and then you can grow. But my most important saying that, I put into fruition is, love is seeing yourself and other people and serving the you and them. And that is the basic, fundamental cornerstone of the griot party. Is I need you to tell me your story so I can have the opportunity to see myself in you. Therefore, I cannot treat you how I wouldn't want to be treated.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is so special too, because it just reminds me of some of those ancient principles that, you know, civilization was built off of, like, you know, the oneness that you talk about, because we're all one. So like, the harm I do to you is the harm I'm doing to me, like just those concepts. But also there's so much rich cultural perspective here when we talk about griot, when we talk about people sharing their stories and really being specific about that piece that was impactful to them and bringing it out to other folks. And there's, people in the Pacific Northwest have been like, I am ready, I need these kind of things, you know, right? I think I've heard it a bunch of times, because people are like, when I hear the word griot, I think of Love Jones, and I think of that scene when they were in the spot and everybody's snapping, and it's like, creating those kinds of experiences for folks is so important, but it's also anchoring in culture. Can you speak to that a little bit too?
Anchoring in culture?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a very unique path to answering that question on that prompt. Anchoring in culture is the culture of sound. This last griot party that we did, when I directed it and I wrote the narration that you heard, I wanted to take us a journey through sound. We get so distracted by social, political, and racial issues that we forget that the whole point is, like you said, is to bring it back to one. When you go through these different channels and, you know, this maze of life, and you get distracted by all these things, the griot brings you back to the story, and it brings you back to the sound. And then I came up with another slogan: sound is our ancestor. Before we were around into his physical flesh, sound was there in the form of a vibration. So that's the culture that we're at. can we bring you back to the vibration? Let's get past through, you know, all our racial stuff, our political stuff, our gender stuff. Bring it back to when we were one. We were one with sound, the culture of sound. The culture of sound brings everyone together. You know, like I work in a school, I'm a principal. It is fundamentally designed by sound. How do you know the next class is gonna start?
Right, the bell.
The bell,
Yeah.
it's a sound. And if you say the sound like a bell, it's like when you listen to that narration on our website, if you can go in there and listen to it, I have a sound bowl and I hit it, it's a boom, a bell. And that vibration goes out and it's like, oh, now it's time to go to our next class. You know what I'm saying? So the culture of sound is what's gonna bring people together. They say that's the reason why hip hop is so influential and so powerful, is because that sound is something that is indigenous to life on this planet. So in a roundabout way, you know, I chose to answer the question like that. Like that's the culture, like the culture of sound. You know, like if you hear something that don't sound right, that could set the tone off. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Well, how many times have we hear people say, man, you're just tone deaf, man. Like, read the room.
Right,
like,
right.
Why are you doing that?
Right, right. Well, it also goes back to, like, I mean, these experiments that are done with sound, right? Mm-hmm. The benefits of positive sound versus negative sound, even the words that we're using, right? And so I was just looking at some of the results of, like, talking to water and how water responds, right, to positive talk or negative talk in different ways. And we are predominantly water.
70%.
So there it is. I would say to people around me, you know, that doesn't resonate with the waters in my body. And people be like, oh, really? I used to say that all the time.
That's
oh, yeah.
dope. I'm gonna use that.
That doesn't resonate with the waters in my body. And I realized, like, wait a minute, there's actually some scientific basis to that, because it's very true. If it doesn't, you can actually feel it in your body. So I really appreciate you taking that spin on it, because it is true that when we are in these spaces, not only are we hearing these stories from a personal perspective, which I think also adds to the impact of them, but the ideas that we are using sound as that basis to get people to resonate in general is so key. Y'all have another experience coming up. I definitely want to talk a bit about how, you know, folks are now like, hey, we need that over here, or hey, we want to do something. Tell us a bit more about how, you know, the griot party experience has been received by others and is now going to other spaces.
Yes, man, that's a good prompt. And you got a lot of good prompts. good, yeah. We've been able to do a lot of partnerships, you know, based on just the format that we're doing. I wanted to play with words, you know what I'm saying? And so when people say, well, how much is it? I said, the admission is free, dumb. You know what I'm saying? I want to get people in the door and cut away so many excuses not to come. Some people are like, oh man, it's $20, it's $30. So like, no, it's free. You know, and then if you want to come there, you can, you know, you can buy something and whatnot. But that being said, we're just really trying to really push like that free, the word free. But you know, we're going to be at Bulldog News, you know what I'm saying, February 24th. You know, that's an iconic place in the U District on the Ave, and we're doing a little pop-up coffee shop stuff for, you know, Black History Month, Black is Life, Black Tweet 365, because, you know, it ain't just for February. And then we have a very big partnership with the Tacoma Art Museum, March 28th, where you're just gonna be walking into almost like a griot party exhibit at the Tacoma Art Museum, where you walk in and it's just gonna be like images of the history of the black culture, but also the griot party. Because we started in 2016, so we've been rocking for a little bit, and we, you know, as the leader, you know what I'm saying, of the griot party, I said, even during COVID, we were there doing it, you know, virtually and whatnot. So March 28th at the Tacoma Art Museum at 5 p.m. is gonna be a big experience, because we're partnering with like an art institution. Like it was big to be at Langston Hughes all the times we've been in Columbia City, but the Tacoma Art Museum, a place that curates art, like you walk into there and it's like, now we are a legitimate art form, the griot party experience. Like, this is a form of art, the art of healing, through words and through stories and things of that nature. And another thing, what it shows us and it reinforces and reminds us that, again, we do not have to wait to cast votes, to count them up. We don't have to wait, for like the hospitals and to heal us and stuff like that. We can do it by coming together, just like we used to do in the churches and the mosques and the Masonic temples, but do it on a regular basis. And we just change the format, and we're not using the format of, what our oppressors always, taught us to do. We're using the format of how to heal us. Coming in and saying, just a simple thing is like, man, what's 10 good things you can say about Trae? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I do on a regular basis when I see, people. The first thing I want to say is, what is it that I can see about you that can tell the story that I appreciate you? Your hair. I love your hair. Boom. But what if we did that on a regular basis and really trained ourselves to be positive? That's just the whole science behind just being pleasant and greeting people and saying, hey, what's up? Good morning. You know what I'm saying? Whether you meet it or not, you know what I'm saying? It's a part of our structure. So, we just have to keep providing these opportunities and these spaces, you know what I'm saying? And build our confidence that we can do it ourselves. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? We really can, you know what I'm saying?
Well, this is exactly why I talked a bit about advocacy before I brought it to you, because it takes folks like yourself to be able to speak about the need for the curation of these experiences to exist for folks to be able to come and get what they need, right? And so that level of being in these rooms and knowing, okay, with these partners, okay, yeah, this is how we need to curate this. This is what it needs to look, this is what it needs to feel like. This is what people need to feel when they come in. That level of voice is so necessary to make sure that these experiences are impactful. And really, people are walking away with what, all the planning is intending for them to walk away with. So I wanted to start with advocacy because I want to thank you for that. I want to thank you for being in the schools, for bringing your understanding now to young people, right? So that positive talk is so important, being able to bring that out into community so folks are reminded of how great they are is so important. So thank you for that level of advocacy and for bringing the Griot Party experience out so that folks can really get what they need in these amazing storytellers that you keep on bringing together. It's just beautiful and good history there. Of course, if folks want to tap in, they want to learn more about the Griot Party, they want to be a part of one of the Griot Party experiences, you can look right there and let them know how they connect with you.
Yeah, first I want to say, and I'm probably going to forget some, I want to say a shout out to all the partnerships that we've had since 2016. I want to shout out to Autumn Club, you know what I'm saying, Brian Pittman, who helped me design this, Feed the People Stories, and the Griot Party is my creation, but he helped me put it on this hoodie in good quality. Department of Neighborhoods and Susie, the City of Seattle, Langston Hughes, Converge Media, Tacoma Art Museum. I know I'm gonna fit somebody, but just shout out to everybody. You can go to www.thegriotparty.com, and we got a lot of great features on there. You can check out our videos, our mini documentaries. You can check out our our soundtrack, to what we, have going on, our signature songs. So I just really am appreciative of everybody who's helped, bring this into, fruition. You know what I'm saying? Just me looking at Veronica Very with Wonder Woman, who brought me on stage where I got the inspiration to do it. Hiawatha D, who is an inspiration to me, and especially Chris Hopper too, who had me be a part of the Black and Tan, where I was like, I have to add more theater to this. And so that's why the last Griot Party and the ones that come after that was so powerful, because I just learned so much about theater. So, man, shout out. I mean, I know I'm forgetting somebody, but you know what I'm saying? Anything worth sharing is not yours to keep. So I just be trying to keep, sharing, because it ain't mine to keep.
There we go. And thank you for sharing
Peace.
here with me today.
Yeah.
It was really a pure pleasure to have you here. And anytime, this is the show for you too.
Oh,
so
man.
if you got other experiences coming up, you got things you want to make sure the public is aware of, please don't hesitate to connect with me
Oh,
so
man,
we can
I
make sure we
appreciate
get
it. I'm
you
going to hold
on.
y'all to that, too.
Yeah, I mean it. I mean it. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all, I told you it was going to be terrific. You know, this is something where I'm already gaining so much inspiration. I'm hoping y'all are feeling it out there. I'm going to wrap all of this amazingness up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.